Hey, true believers, we have now made it to Blackest Nights, issue 4. And this issue was awesome. And what I've really enjoyed is we have yet to see the, in this main book, not all the other side books, we have yet to see Superman, the Dick Grayson Batman, or Wonder Woman make an appearance. And I'm okay with that because last issue, Hal was transported to Zamaron to recruit Sinestro and the Sapphires to let them know how to destroy the Green Lantern rings. So that's leaving Mira, Ray, and Flash to lead the charge in this, to try to find Alan Scott to use his green ring amongst other team members to let them know what the plan is. And we get a voiceover from William Hand. Do you think because Superman and the Flash and Green Arrow cheated death before, they can cheat it again? They cannot escape my lord. They will not. Let there be light spark the beginning of the war. Our blackest night will end it. And so Mira and Ray are, Mira particularly is saying, okay, so they're saying that we have to have two more or more of the emotional spectrum here to take these out. And they teleport Jordan away. And Ray saying they prioritize Mira. We have to hold the fort. And this, right now, is what holding the fort looks like. Hopeless looking, I know. Absolutely gorgeous splash page. This book was written by Jeff Johns, Ivan Reyes doing the pencils, Auclair Albert and Joe Prado doing inks, Alex Sinclair, art colorist, Nick Napolitano, I always say Napolitano. I don't know how close to the truth that is, but you get it. There's everyone working on the book. And when you first start reading this, everything just feels hopeless, even though Jason does have a moment where he takes control of Firestorm and explains what happened to Jen. And it's heart-wrenching because as much as you may have liked Ronnie as the original Firestorm, seeing that type of, the teen angst as a evil entity is intense. Especially with Arthur re-entering the scene and then seeing how the Black Rings have affected the rest of the world. We start to see Azrael. Now, here's a little spoiler, so if you guys don't want to be spoiled, go read this series and come back. And you're back. We see Azrael in Gotham. And while this is happening, we see the Scarecrow walking in the midst of the scared Gothamites, and he goes, I want to feel the terror, but I'm immune to it, you see. I use my fear gas, one too many times. And we see Azrael just kind of trying to get some sort of response out of Jonathan Crane. I scare people, but nothing scares me. And so we're seeing this from the point of view of the Black Lantern, and we don't see any type of emotional signature on Scarecrow. And he literally just walks right past Azrael. He goes, nothing. And we just see how the Black Lantern power level is just continually rising. Because once that hits 100, the Blackest Nights begins with the god of the Black Lanterns rising. But Crane here says, I don't fear nothing but the Batman. Keep that in mind because Crane and Luthor become important parts in the latter half of Blackest Nights. Now everyone's looking for his help, and he goes, you all think that we're all on the same type of team. With everything that's going on, it's every man for himself. He goes, do you know how many people I've killed over the years? If the dead are rising, I'll have my own problems. And to be thoroughly honest, I'm sick of you and the rest of those delusional scabs hugging the edges of my greatness, as if somehow we were all on the same team. We're not. So he's essentially just locking himself in his own panic room, looking at the list of all the people he has killed over the years. Very greedy, evil man. And the way that the Ray is able to finally get the lanterns away, to get away from the Black Lanterns, it's really interesting. And what's great is Barry kind of hatches a plan on what to do until Hal returns. And Mira goes, I'm a fish out of water here, Flash. You've never been uncomfortable in Atlantis either, Mira. But that didn't stop you from defending it. And Ray's like, Barry, you both know more about what's going on than anyone else. I know you've been through a lot, Ray, with Jean and Sue. I know you shrank down and disappeared afterwards, and that's what happened during Identity Crisis. He goes, but I also know you came back. You're here. And sorry for the pun, pal, but it's time to grow the hell up and be the Atom again. And then Mira says, Arthur is gone. My son, now Garth. I have nothing to fight for anymore, Flash. For you, it's easy to find something. You belong up here. You're not an outsider. And this is where everybody always gets Barry Allen wrong, making him the jokester in these modern iterations of Justice League, which pisses me off. This is Flash. Are you kidding me, Mira? Do you have any idea how frustrating it is to slow down and even have this conversation? Or any for that matter? You both might feel like outsiders right now, but let me tell you something. The Justice League is made of outsiders. The only one of us who didn't worry about fitting in was Hal. He let the rest of the world fit in around him. We've got a plan of action. Protect our planet until Hal and the Corps shut down the source of the Flying Dead. So right now, God help me for saying it, and if you ever tell him, I'll deny it. We need to act a little more like Hal. We need to run in, take charge, and kick ass like we were born to. And with that said, that's the Barry Allen that I know. Not the one that makes quippy jokes and is the butt, kind of the comic relief, just no. And now what I love is he basically says as he takes off to go send out the warnings to everyone, he goes, Mira, you're Wonder Woman. Ray, you're Superman. And as he disappears, Mira says, if I'm Wonder Woman and you're Superman, what does that make him? And Ray just point blank, the Flash. And that's one hell of a way to do it. Now, the latter half of this book focuses on the Justice Society because they're looking for Alan Scott. And to see him try to use his version of the Green Lantern light is interesting because he says, my ring doesn't exactly work like Hal's, Adam. It's not connected to that battery out there on Oa. It's its own power source. And I just love how he uses his energy to just blow these suckers away. But of course, without another version of the light around, nothing really happens. So we see the rest of the Justice Society along with Ray and Mira trying to take down versions of not Doctor Strange. Why is it when I need to say it disappears? Dr. Fate. But yeah, because he says, why would you burn an old friend, Alan? And while all this is happening, they are unable to stop the rise of the black central battery thing on Earth, which enables the baddie of this book to rise and causes the Scarlet Speedster to just look in fear and defeat at what's going on in the middle of Coast City. And it's a gorgeous old school 90s splash page. So yeah, Blackest Nights issue 4 kind of clarifies what the Black Lantern's mission is to wipe out all light on Earth while Barry is going around trying to tell everyone to let whatever lights they have, whether it be a lantern or your hope, shine. But sadly, it's not enough, and William Hand knows it. So guys, if you're interested in what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comics and get this series. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Black Lantern bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.